English Senior Unknown Speed. Mr. Chairman Sir, on going through the Governor's address, I must confess that I was rather disappointed that this House was given as little information as possible as to the cases of its summons. I venture to think that the policies ought to have been mentioned in this address itself. Then only the suggestions of honorable members of this House can be taken note of before the budget is finalized. But on the other hand, which the majority that the party in power can command, an attempt has been made to deprive those members sitting in the opposition of the only opportunity they may have to influence the government of the day. This is, in my opinion, a serious handicap to the members belonging to the opposition. Sir, in the governor's address, it is stated that the food position is on the whole satisfactory. That statement is not granted by facts. Today, food production is a general responsibility. If there is any scarcity anywhere, it is only right that the whole country should be treated as one unit and the available food grains distributed to those areas where there is any deficiency. But I am sorry that after so many years of independence, after so many crores of rupees have been spent on large irrigation projects, we are still more or less where we were some years ago, depending upon foreign imports to the tune of several crores of rupees. It is all due to a lack of proper policy on the part of both the central and the state governments, without realizing that they have to control the entire subcontinent. The central government usually lay down laws which cannot be followed in their entirety. Let me give you some examples. One is the legislation regarding agricultural lands. I am afraid that all those who own lands are in a state of perpetual dreamer as to what will happen the next minute. With the surcharge on land and agricultural income tax, the position of these landlords has become more and more difficult. The tensions between landlords and tenants has considerably increased. The government cannot absolve themselves of the responsibility for such undesirable results. Some years ago, a bill was introduced to the effect that no agricultural land should be encouraged upon for building purposes without obtaining the specific permission of the government. Nobody knows that there is such a bill, and it is followed more in its breach. You will see the result of this as you drive down to the aerodrome, not speak of the mofussil places. There is another thing that I should like to mention. Case crops are not allowed to be raised. What steps have the government taken to see that these cash crops such as sugarcane are raised only on lands which are not primarily meant for agricultural purposes? Otherwise, a vast extent of agricultural land will be converted into cash crop growing lands, much to the detriment of food production. I am glad to congratulate the government on having thought of levying the sales tax at a single point instead of the multi-point levy now in force. Sir, I am not one of those who desire that the revenue that has accrued to the government from this tax should be curtailed. There are so many requirements and we are always talking of improvements, but I am for single point tax for this reason. The businessmen have to maintain many records. They have to engage people to maintain these records. If any slight lapse occurs, they are caught at once and treated As criminals, single point sales tax is the best in the interests of all concerned and the government will gain a great deal. The government should see that as soon as possible they introduce the system of levying single point sales tax. Letter dated 10th December 1980 from the Municipal Commissioner Kudalur to Messrs. John and Brothers Building Contractors Viluppuram. Dear Sirs, we are in receipt of your letter dated 7th December in which you have stated that the construction of the new building in the municipal compound is not yet over and that washing, painting and minor works are taken up immediately. You have asked for extension of time for 3 months to complete the work. In this connection, I have to find out that according to their contract, the work must have been finished and the building handed over to us for occupation last month itself. You may remember that you had some difficulty some months ago in getting cement and we were able to help you in securing it very urgently. This has enabled you to execute a major portion of the work. The reason for my writing this letter to you is I have received a letter from government yesterday that the date for opening the new building is fixed as 15th February 1982 and the Minister for Local Administration will open it. Yours faithfully.